Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Inside City Hall. Today we're coming to you from the downstairs studio in Peekskill Hall. And we have with us today Ken Lewis. Ken, how are you?
Nice to meet you, Mayor.
So good to see you. And you're a member of the 75th Anniversary Committee.
Absolutely.
How long have you been involved with the 75th Anniversary?
Since it first started.
And tell us some of your impressions of it so far.
Well, it was a little rough in the beginning, but we're all coming together now as events were taking place. They set an agenda, what's going to happen throughout the year. And I'll mention a couple of them. I don't know them all offhand. The first is, as everybody knows, it's going to be the New Year's Eve ball drop for the 75th anniversary.
Let's talk about that for a few minutes, because
Okay.
that's the big thing. It's coming up in less than a week. We want to tell everybody out there how exciting this is going to be. I want to get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people on the street, on the street of the city, and fill the restaurants on New Year's Eve. What's going to happen New Year's Eve?
Well, New Year's Eve at 9 o'clock, there'll be a stage downtown in Peekskill across from the gazebo, across from Hirsch's building and the flagpole. That's where the stage is going to be.
Right.
At 9 o'clock, the DJ will start. It'll be DJ Riley. He'll be playing. And then at 10:15, there'll be a band played. It's called Q Boy and the Electric Paradise. They're local artists out of Peekskill, up-and-coming group. And that will continue until about 11:20. And then there'll be some interviews going on with yourself, Debbie Malone from the Chamber of Commerce, Casey Morbido from WHUD, which is a big sponsor. She's been a big help for me. She's going to be doing 5 or 6 live broadcasts throughout the city that night. She'll be stopping in restaurants, talking to the people there, and doing it live.
I'm very thankful to WLNA, WHUD for being a prime sponsor of this thing, and for Casey to volunteer her time to help us out. It really means a lot. She's a longtime member of this, a lifelong member of the community, and always has Peekskill's interest at heart. She's amazing.
Absolutely. Casey's always there for any event. She helps us with our Italian feast and Verplank all the time. And I would like to also thank Debbie Malone from the Chamber of Commerce, which is also helping me out. She's opened up her office at night so the band, the DJs, they could go in the back and stay warm. Les Bloom is going to be there. He's doing all the sound system for the event, and I appreciate that from Les. I would also like to thank the fire.
I want to thank Les for coming through. I mean, we had somebody lined up for the sound, and then they backed out. What was the deal on that?
Well, they backed out. There was a little problem. But we moved on. We hit a snag in the road. We got somebody else. I tried 3 people. She would help me out the most.
To volunteer to help the city.
Volunteer.
And they wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it.
Ah, it's a shame. Why is it so important to have a good sound system in place?
So with all the people on the street, you could hear it because you're going to have one going up Central Avenue, and then you got all of North Division Street. You just can't have speakers on the stage, and with a big audience that we're hoping to draw, you want the sound to be perfect. So I needed somebody with that expertise to do it, and Les Bloom was the guy I finally found. And he came through for me, and I appreciate that very much.
The 75th anniversary of Peekskill is a great event. It's going to be in 2015, obviously, is our celebration. I see you have some things here to raise some money for the committee.
Absolutely.
We have our 75th anniversary hats, regular baseball type hat. Then you have a... Should I try it on?
Go ahead, try it on. Put it on. Beautiful. That's going to be one of the biggest sellers. Everybody's wearing those hats right now.
I can't wait to buy mine. How much is something like this going to cost?
$15.
$15? That's cheap. I was going to pay $20 and be happy. You also have a great idea for commemorative coins. What can you tell me about that?
Well, the coins the committee came up with, and since we did this all on a short notice, it was rough getting all this stuff in time. Mm-hmm. Right now we have it all. And I would like to thank Ray Woods from Woody Tees, who are going to be doing the hats. And we also have sweatshirts coming in. Now the coins, John Finnegan found for us, and I really appreciate John Finnegan's help for this. They came up with the logo, the committee did, and we had 3 or 4 logos, and we chose this logo, what are on these coins. And to get them in time, I paid a couple dollars extra, but it was worth it, and we're going to be selling them for $10 each.
Yeah, this is amazing, and Mike is going to give the audience a close-up of the 75th anniversary coin. But on this side, it has the medallion of the city of Peekskill, and on the flip side, the 75th anniversary stamp. It's tremendous. It's heavyweight.
Oh yes.
And what's something like this going to cost?
$10.
That's cheap. I'm telling you, you're letting these things go cheap.
Well, you know, we're not here to make money, but we are making a little bit of money so we can put back in the committee what the committee needs for the rest of the year. Now, we are going to do a journal that's going to come out.
So anybody out there who's interested in helping the 75th Anniversary Committee to step in for those that have dropped out, please come forward and help us out. It's a community event. We're going to celebrate. Originally, when I took office and I had the idea that why should all the people go to New York City or White Plains to see the ball drop, I threw it out there and asked the committee to get in place and asked Dominic Giusti from Highland Welding to make a ball. And I understand that he's done this on a volunteer basis. And after this interview here, we're going to go up to Highland Welding and take a preview of the ball. And we're going to light it up and we're going to show the people what it's going to look like. It's going to drop down from a crane about 150 feet, and it's just going to be a tremendous thing. But the whole idea of having a ball on New Year's Eve was not originally part of the 75th anniversary, but I'm glad the 75th Anniversary Committee came in and took it over and adopted it as the beginning of our 75th birthday. And I hope the ball drop is an annual event every year to bring people on the streets in the city of Peekskill, to keep our restaurants full, and to make Peekskill a focal point, not White Plains and not New York City. What do you have to say about that, Ken?
Well, the ball drop was kind of your idea, and it was, I have to admit that. But to get it off the ground, you needed somebody like me to do it.
That's right.
So I did it. I came through. I got you the money. We have enough money, and we're going to have a nice show that night.
Now, originally we were raising money for the ball drop, but then it morphed into for the 75th Anniversary Committee. So any extra money, actually all the money of the 75th Anniversary Committee is basically taking over the ball drop.
Absolutely.
And so why don't you tell us about this ball and the timing and everything? I know you've been active with that, with Dominic, working those details out.
Well, Dominic and his family did a beautiful job on the ball, which you'll see when we go up there later on today, okay? The ball itself, it's amazing. And like you said, he's going to have his crane there. We're going to have a generator in the back so we can light everything all up. I mean, everything's coming into place, thank God. And we just want a big crowd down there and everybody to be safe. And for a surprise, we have a special effects show that's going to start, I think, probably at 1:01 after the ball drops. Right. When you pull the button.
That's the fireworks.
It's the fireworks, special effects.
Well, we can't call it fireworks. We're going to call it pyrotechnics.
Pyrotechnics, special effects.
And these are low grade, what they use at baseball stadiums. And
absolutely. They're used all over the country at baseball stadiums, football stadiums, concerts.
White Plains
has them. They shoot it off a roof right in White Plains.
Right.
So it's all done. And that's going to be done by Garden State Fireworks, and it's going to be handled by Anthony Kabikati.
I want to thank the Peekskill firemen, the fire department, the chiefs especially, for their work and their volunteer work all the time. But in the last couple of weeks, they've worked really hard. They've met with you. They've gone on site. They've looked at the program. They looked at the Kabikati firm and how they set these things off and where they're going to be doing this from. And we don't want to tell people where we're going to shoot from, but it's going to be seen from downtown. It's going to be spectacular. I've looked at the plan. I've given it my wholehearted endorsement. And the chiefs have too. They've looked at it. They said, you know, they're always concerned about what if the worst case scenario. And with our volunteers and our professional firefighters, both paid and unpaid, any risk is manageable with a fine department like ours.
Absolutely. I can't thank the police and the fire for all the help they've given me. I met with the chief, the sergeant, and the police department. We all worked it out. I want to thank Anthony Ruggiero. I like to thank Ann in financing. I want everybody to know that anything raised, all the checks are being made out to the City of Peekskill. So if you want to donate any money, just make the check out to the City of Peekskill 75th Anniversary Committee, right. And it goes into the finance department. Right. There's a full accountant of it, and there'll be a full accountant of the spending of it.
Right. I just want to clarify that. That's the money is going to go directly to the 75th Anniversary Committee. It's not going to go to pay anybody's deficits. It's not going to go to pay overtime. It's going to go strictly to the 75th Anniversary Committee, and they decide how to disperse that money out. Correct?
Well, I think that should be correct. Now,
and I just want to thank the members of the Common Council who voted in favor of closing the streets down and allowing this festival to happen on New Year's Eve. And that was everybody on the council. And I want to give a special shout out and thanks to Joe Torres, Vinny Vesey, Miss McKenzie, Vivian McKenzie, and Darren Rigger for their support in allowing the fireworks to go forward. It's only through the progressive ideas and thoughtfulness of city leaders like that that have a vision to see that we can be different. We can be different than other towns and cities, and we can have a spectacular fireworks show. We can have a spectacular New Year's Eve, and we can bear any risk, pay any burden to provide the very best for our citizens. It's not going to be business as usual in Peekskill. Peekskill is a growing city. We're not a little village like Cold Spring, and we're going to continue to grow and be vibrant and be the attraction from all around northern Westchester. Right, Kenny?
Absolutely. I hear it all the time. I raised some of this money out of the city of Peekskill. One of the major sponsors is Suburban Propane out of Mount Kisco and Brewster, who donated one of the major sponsorships of this thing.
Why don't you tell us about the, all of this money is by private sponsors, so who are some of our big sponsors and who really put the interests of Peekskill at heart? And we ask you to keep them in mind when you're shopping and any kind of business that you want to do, to pay back those people that help make Peekskill the great place it is.
And our sponsors are Suburban Propane out of Mount Kisco. You have the McCarthy Law Firm, the Catalina Law Firm. You have Franzozo's Contracting, White Plains Linen, Wheeler Brader. You also have Manza Landscaping, Ford Piano out of Peekskill. You have various other companies, Hudson Valley Bus Company. You have a Bilotti Contracting, JK Fence Contractors. You have quite a few. There's more to go, but I'll put them all together on a sheet. Everybody will see them. They'll be read off the night of the event. They'll be in a booklet for the 75th anniversary. What we are going to do, the book will be made, but it will have a list of sponsors. We'll have advertising in there, and we'll have pages from the mayor, from the council people, to have a page and a paragraph underneath each one.
And your firm too.
JK Fence Contracting. Absolutely.
How long have you been JK Fence?
33 years in the city of Peekskill. I was the first fence company established in the city of Peekskill.
And you also have another business, right?
I own Old Fashioned Pizza in the town of Cortland for 23 years.
And probably one of the best slices of pizza outside of the city of Peekskill that you can get, right?
I'll give you that one, Mayor.
All right. Now, I just want to go back to New Year's Eve. There's going to be a dual simulcast, I guess. WHED is going to do their own thing with Casey at different locations, but we're actually going to host our show from there, from a city show.
Yes, I would like to thank Mike Miner. He called me up, and he's going to do a full live broadcast, so any seniors or anybody who want to stay home that night will be able to see it live from Mike Miner. He's going to do it on our local channels, so I really appreciate Mike Miner.
Well, I hope the seniors get out, but I did sign an executive order that it will be 50 degrees out and calm winds and no snow or rain. So I've ordered that, and we'll see if anybody upstairs listens to my orders, because nobody down here seems to be. But let's talk about Deb Malone from the Chamber of Commerce. You want to talk about an organization that's strictly focused like a laser beam on the business community in Peekskill, Cortland, and the entire area. Cortland, Croton, Montrose, Peekskill, Putnam Valley, they're focused like a laser beam, and I cannot remember, I've been a member of the business community here for 33 years that I've been practicing law, but I cannot remember a prior executive director as outgoing, who's everywhere, like Deb Malone. What do you have to say about this from a remarkable woman?
Well, Debbie does a fantastic job at her job. Let me just tell you that. And I had spoken to her. She gave me a lot of help. She guided me through some things. She got me some numbers, some people I need to talk to. We are reaching out to a lot more people for the fundraising. I'm not going to be able to get it all done. I'm only one person, but I do have a committee. And I would like to mention some of those people on my committee. I'm the chair of the New Year's Eve ball drop. You have Dominic Juicy, which is my co-chair. You have Stephanie Portis out of the McCarthy Law Firm.
Stephanie's been great.
Stephanie's, she helped me out with the letter.
Right.
I can't thank her enough. Diane Marazino, she's all
Diane.
over me.
Diane's on your committee?
Oh, she drives the white plane with me. We met some DJs down there, but we chose somebody else.
I haven't seen her in years. But I'll see her
without Diane, I don't know what would happen.
Cool.
Then you have Lisa Earl. She's on my other committee. She's on the same committee.
She related to George?
No, she's not related to George. Okay. She's helped me do something else on this committee.
Well, I have to meet her.
Oh, you'll meet her, believe me. She's Diane's sister, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
But I can't thank them enough for helping me through all this. And if I forgot somebody's name, I apologize. But I will make it out when we do another live broadcast with Mike Miner.
If you forgot anybody's name, let me know, and we'll give them a plug on New Year's Eve.
I really appreciate that very much. I would also like to thank the fire chiefs for all their help and the support they gave me. They met with me 2 or 3 times already.
You got the 3 chiefs, right?
The 3 chiefs.
So who did the most work? Go ahead, you can
Who
say.
did the most work?
Don't answer that
All
question.
three of them. All three of them. Come on. They all were there. They all did the same thing.
I heard that Vinny Malaspina is really doing the bulk of the work there. But don't tell Chief Fioria that.
I'm not saying anything about that. That's your comment you said, not me.
They're outstanding, all three of them.
Absolutely.
I went to high school with Vinny. I get to tease him.
Vinny's a good guy. I know
Vinny's a
Vinny
good
very
guy.
well. We played softball together.
They're all good guys.
Absolutely.
And, so who else you got? Who else you want to thank?
Just everybody for all their support, for helping me get through this, all their donations. It's a little rough this time of year getting donations, but we are doing it. People are coming through. I really appreciate it. And we have a ways to go because they have other events through the whole year. Yeah. We are talking about a family day later on, and Deb Malone wants to bring something up with that about the dragon boat races, maybe incorporate in the same day as a family day for the city of Peekskill. Well, we need money to raise for it too.
So on New Year's Eve, we have the city bandstand. We have the band Q-Boy and Eclectic. There are a 7-piece band, Eclectic Paradise.
Yeah.
There are a 7-piece local band. They're all from Peekskill, Peekskill residents, and they're going to rock the city, I'm told.
Absolutely. I heard them. They were amazing. Me and Diane, I had to get the okay with Diane because she's all over with me with this. She came down and she loved them. And at that time, we only heard 3 of them. So imagine when 7 of them play, they're going to be phenomenal.
Well, we're really excited about the whole thing. It's what I wanted, always wanted New Year's Eve to be in my hometown. And I'm just so glad that guys like you and Dominic Giusti have stepped forward to make that dream a reality, and that you have a way of, I just want to thank you personally, you have a way of bringing out the, pulling out people and making them want to participate and want to volunteer. And it's been a great thing for Peekskill. Having an idea is one thing, but having the people to implement it is another thing. And it would not be a reality if it wasn't for you and Dominic Giusti and the rest of your committee and the entire 75th anniversary committee to come in and adopt this and take it over. It's been great. And a special thank you, a heartfelt thank you to former mayors Francis Gibbs and Jay Bianco, the honorary co-chairs of the 75th anniversary committee. Those 2 people have given so much to the city of Peekskill for so long, and I just can't thank them enough. It's just been an honor to be a mayor of Peekskill and to follow the footprints and try to be half of the mayor as Jay Bianco or Fran Gibbs was, and I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart. And the last person that we'd be remiss in without mentioning here is Jenny George Cummings. She's the chairperson of the 75th Anniversary Committee. She's pulling all the different committees together, and she's just been a tremendous volunteer. She worked at the hospital for years, and anybody that could put up with John Fetterspiel for all those years is a tremendous asset to the city of Peekskill, and she's doing a great job.
She's doing a great job, and her co-chair is Frank Adair, the city historian.
The 75th Anniversary Committee is going to have a page on our city website so you can see the events that they have planned. There's some grumblings around City Hall through some of the elected officials that want to know how much money are they raising, what are they spending this money on. This is a totally independent committee. They have one thing. They're not running for elections. They're not trying to impress people. They have one goal, and that's to make Peekskill's 75th birthday a grand, fabulous, fantastic affair that's going to last through most of this year. And for that, we salute them, and we should support them, not question them and give them ulterior motives. We asked those people on the council that dropped out of the 75th Anniversary Committee to dust off your egos and come on back in and help out. Everybody, there's room for everybody to work to the betterment of Peekskill, correct?
Absolutely. Once they see this ball drop New Year's Eve, everybody's going to be thrilled to death.
Come on in.
Tell you that.
Come on in. The elected officials that haven't, I invite you back in. The citizens that haven't come down to our meetings, I invite you to partake in this. This is going to be a tremendous thing New Year's Eve. Come on down, see what's going on, see the fantastic success that the 75th Anniversary Committee is going to make New Year's Eve, and then join in with them and make the rest of 2015, the 75th anniversary of Peekskill, a fantastic one. Kenny, I want to thank you for coming in today.
No problem.
And interviewing. We're going to go up to Dominic Giusti's place and see that ball drop and give you a preview of what it's going to look like. And I can't thank you enough, everybody that's working on this. God bless you all. Happy New Year to everybody, and we'll see you New Year's Eve.